Welcome to episode 44. I really wanted to do a bigger, more dramatic opening, but we both just did double chins to ourselves and held it for as long as we could. Welcome to the Screen Age Podcast. I'm your host, Connor.
And I'm Rodrigo.
I get used to the acoustics of this desk, as some people might have seen from our post. I'm in a different place, but everything is different here. Every time I hit my desk, something moves.
We're just gonna hear shift, Xbox monitor, PC collapse.
Yeah, a lot of things are on this desk now that weren't there last year when I was. So, can't wait for that, but hopefully sound isn't as diminished as it could be. Well, anyway, welcome. We don't really have anything too exciting until we hit the video game. Sorry, I hit the desk again.
Yeah, no, quite weak.
Quite enough, so let's see what we can rant about.
Yeah, TV shows?
Tavi
shows. Yeah, so we got a bit of news on Star Wars Visions.
Which I'm always excited for.
Mm-hmm. We kind of just got the range of runtimes of each episode.
Which kind of scares me, because range will dictate the shortest time and the least amount and the most amount of anything. Yeah. So this is the least amount of run, the shortest and the longest, and the shortest is 13 minutes.
It is so short. 13 minutes is insanely short. That's like a fucking Disney movie short, like one of those, those short movies.
Disney short movie. He said it's Disney movie short.
But yeah, that's very short.
13 is quite short.
Yeah, 22 is what I was expecting.
Yeah, to
be the normal runtime, but 13 is quite short.
13 is very. I don't know if we can say that it's quite short. I think it's shorter than what we were expecting, so it just kind of hits that. Oh, okay. So what I'm hoping is that it's like 1 is 13, and that's like that's the episode that is like the most detailed and really animated spectacularly, so that there's a reason for being that short, like save animation time and save working costs and stuff like that. But I hope it's only that one, and the rest are bumping up towards like the 17-20 minute marks.
Yeah, or it could go the other way, that they're all like 13, 14, 15, and there's just the one outlier that's 22 minutes long. But I guess the saving grace for this would probably be that it's not a TV show per se. It is a TV show, but they're more short films.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you're right. The saving grace of this isn't. What's the Bad Batch and Mandalorian say? We'll take one of those two.
Yeah.
It's still about Star Wars. Every time we were watching, we were paying close attention to what the runtime is, and every time it went below for Mandalorian, if it went below that 45 to like maybe like 30, maybe just to 40. Even if it goes below the 40-minute mark, we were like, okay, this is short enough. I can't remember what's the shortest. Came out of your head. That's all. Like, because I remember there was one that was small and that was short enough, and we were like, oh, okay. So when you realize that an episode's go 33, I had yeah. So like when it comes down to a shorter episode of a series like that, you're like, oh, okay, it's just a throwaway episode, and you don't have to worry too much about it. So it can kind of take away from the impact of that episode. But in this case, it's a bunch of short movies pretty much, so there's no real nothing that's tying a direct length to it. They're short movies. It's more so like Love, Death and Robots, which I do love, but sometimes and actually in fairness, I know we say the most detailed ones are will be the shorter one. Doesn't mean that the quality won't be, or of like writing stuff that won't be as good. Sometimes the best short movies are the shortest ones, and you just want them to keep going. So I'm intrigued. Like the fact that it can go to 13 minutes. Like at first it's like, oh, but then as you said, it's a short movie thing. It's not a TV series that follows on per se. So I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, and I think the purpose of Visions is to kind of gauge what animation style kind of grabs the audience most.
Yeah.
And then also what storyline intrigued the most. So they'll be able to see by ratings and stuff on each episode and reactions on them which ones worked and which ones didn't, and then they can progress from there, going to make more films, maybe a full length TV show on a particular topic or animation style or whatever. So I'm okay with it. I did at first go, wow, 13, that's very short, but I guess if they are short films, so it's not the craziest thing either. If anything, 22 minutes for a short film is quite long.
It is, actually, when you look at it for short. Yeah, okay, it's a short movie, so you can kind of be like, 22 minutes is grand. Or like 30 minutes is, okay, about right. But when you look at it, as I said, if you're comparing it kind of to Love, Death and Robots and stuff like that, like they're really short. They're like, they could be up to 5 minutes. Some of them could be lengthy enough and be like, oh, okay, this is a good long episode. But you think of short movies, you do think of like Disney. You do think of things that are just there, gone, done without even thinking about it. So 22 minutes is actually quite a lengthy process. But just going back to what you were saying about like Disney looking at what things capture people's attention the most. I hope they don't focus on animation too much, because I have a feeling that really no matter what, they're going to go for the one that looks most colourful and most, like, not child friendly per se, but the one that's just like the most, oh yeah, you've seen this a few times.
Yeah,
I think they will, because A, it's what they're used to, B, they're probably the most skilled, and like it's probably the best middle ground of cost efficiency and how good it looks. Because if you pay a load of attention to how good it looks, you're going to spend a lot longer on something. Just just take Attack on Titan for example. It looks really good, but it takes forever to get that level. So if they choose another animation style that's at that mid range, which is okay, sorry, if you go the opposite way, and it's really quick but it's really shit, I almost feel like you get Marvel's What If.
True.
Just go 2D. I don't care what you do. Just go 2D.
We have gotten some clips of certain animation styles, and there is those ones that, like, I don't like the word child friendly, but they kind of look child friendly. But then you also get the grittier looking ones that are 2D. Yeah. That just look fucking beautiful.
So there's one really gritty one. It looks like a bunch of scratch lines and sketch things. You're just like, fuck.
Yeah, the one that is like raining. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I want. That one just looks fucking beautiful.
But I don't think you can make an entire series out of that. I think that would, like, that looks really good for those few minutes, and then it's like, oh god, my eyes are starting to hurt.
Yeah, it'll be tough now. To make a series that long. But when is this out?
22nd of September.
That is
or 23rd.
Close.
It is getting quite close. I will binge the fuck out of it.
What?
I do hope, because you also mentioned, I wonder what ones they're going to focus on, and I'm willing to bet they are either going to go really far back in the past, like they're planning to do already with like the High Republic and stuff like that, which is grand.
Yeah,
I'd love to see a bunch of stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm a bit afraid still, because if it's a bunch of new people coming into it, and if it's a bunch of like new fans and younger fans, they're gonna recognize. I guess they're gonna recognize the fucking First Order a lot more, and I hope they don't keep pushing that along, because that's done, and I don't want to see more after that, because of the 3 periods, that one is the least interesting. Like, not a whole lot of shit happens with it. Like, the most interesting part, the most interesting factor of that era is literally just the 2 armies. That's it. Yeah. Just the First Order and them. The Sith aren't that interesting in it because they're just like, you brought everyone back, and it's only all right, and like even the Jedi itself just don't make sense half the time. So the two armies are the best thing about it, because the First Order looks really cool, but they came out of nowhere. And the Resistance are just so disgruntledly and dismantled and all over the fucking place. Like, I wonder how they weren't squashed in the beginning.
Yeah,
but
true.
Like, so that's the interesting part of that. The interesting part of the original trilogy is, like, the most interesting part is how the Jedi and so and the Sith work. The two armies are interesting because they were so new back then. But if you compare them to the other two, they're the least interesting armies. But the Jedi themselves, the Sith is really interesting. Then you just have the prequel trilogy where all that shit is So like, I doubt they're gonna go down that route because it looks to be really far back in the past, focusing on Jedi or like random just other things. But I just wish they'd do something really just off the wall. Like, I wish they would do another Mandalorian type of thing. Just take a fucking gamble on what a character could be and be like, oh wait, people like this.
Yeah. I kind of hope they kind of dig into the lore, because there's so much out there. Just dig it in. Like, okay, like there's that. Like, we always complaining about, like, oh, we get recurring characters, blah blah blah. But I wouldn't mind seeing one, right? One episode from that thing that you love. That I think it's that book or that story or whatever. Of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Where he just shows up to a planet and just fucks shit up. Like, if we got a 13-minute episode of him just fucking shit up, give it to me.
I would fucking love that.
But that's the only way I would accept, like, seeing characters that we already know, if it's just the thing that it's like showing, like, Darth Vader how badass he was.
Yeah, because
they never do.
Yeah, you got it. They never did.
They never did. Except Rogue One, for like 30 seconds. But they always kind of like... So at the end of Revenge of the Sith, we get to see him. So we don't get to see anything of it. And then in the old movies, the original trilogy, it's so old and outdated now that the fighting isn't amazing anymore. And even then, if you look past that and just go for what it used to be, it's still not like super fucking badass like he was. So if we were to get something between Revenge of the Sith and The New Hope of him just fucking shit up and just creating this massive empire, that would be awesome.
I'd love it if we just got like even a short series. I don't even care. I just wish it was. I wish that getting the rights for graphic novels and stuff, that was so much easier, because I love, more so because I love more people to know about it. I just love it for them to just make a few animations of of how Vader became Vader, like the whole thing of how he got his lightsaber. People don't really know about that, and like how he got it is fucking mental. He destroys an entire town by ripping down a dam, just because he wants a lightsaber. Like when he goes to purify a crystal, he literally, that's like, people think that when he kills the younglings, that's the death of Anakin. It kind of is, but there's another section in the book where he gets confronted by a vision of Obi-Wan again, where he calls him Anakin and he almost goes back to the lights. He sees a vision of Obi-Wan and he's like talking to him for a bit, and he almost brings back the light side, and then he calls him Anakin, and then he just goes, wait a minute, I'm not him, and then that kills that part of him. But we never see that in live action, and so little people know about that.
Yeah.
And that's the scene where he corrupts a fucking crystal to bring it back to the dark side. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
no one knows about that.
Like, no one knows how severely dark he is. Like, how far into the dark side he actually goes. And like, but they do a good job, I think it's in the Clone Wars, of showing that a little bit. Even with like Ahsoka, when she like confronts him and she's like talking to him and shit.
Rebels.
Rebels. And like she's like talking to him and shit, and she's like, she calls him Anakin as well, and you can kind of see him kind of like coming back, and then it's suddenly like, no, I'm not him anymore, and then he just fucking goes off.
What? I can't remember the exact thing with that. I I don't know if what's his name, Matt, the voice actor who plays Anakin in the Clone Wars like series.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. The Clones of Bruce Lee, that's a movie. The Clone, there it is, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Like, he was, just show me the fucking cast, just show me the cast, just show me the cast, just show me the cast, oh my god, show me the cast. Why you show me the cast? Show me the cast. Matt Lanter. Why does it say, that's fucking funny, it says his name is fucking Darth Vader underneath it in the Clone Wars. I think in that scene, I think Darth Vader is voiced by someone else, and then in that bit you can hear Matt talk.
Oh, okay,
and
that's
like
pretty
he
cool.
says, it's really cool, and you can hear the distorted voice and his voice at the same time because his mask is damaged.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, then you'll die here too. And you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, he literally just fucking pushes through. That scene is awesome.
Yeah, so like people that watch Rebels and Rebels and then play video games where Darth Vader's in know how fucking awesome he is. But the people that don't, which is probably the majority of Star Wars fans, don't play or watch the animated shows. So like they don't realize how fucking awesome he is. Like, I always see on like TikTok or Instagram or something, and they put like a picture of Darth Vader and a picture of fucking someone else. It could be like Iron Man or Thor or some shit, and they're like, who wins in a fight? And the substantial amount of people that go like Thor and shit like that, I'm like, you clearly don't understand how powerful Darth Vader is. And then they go, oh no, but if they fight in the Marvel universe, he doesn't have the Force. Like, that's like, what? That's the stupidest argument I've ever heard. That's like saying, oh, if you put Superman against me, but if he's like covered in kryptonite, I win. Like, yeah, of course. Like, it's such a stupid argument. If the argument is who wins in a fight, is they both have all their powers at their disposal in a neutral ground, and they just battle it out to the death, and Darth Vader wins that fight every day of the week.
Yeah. Like, people remember, people with the Force can catch lightning. No, sorry, people with the Force can cause lightning. So they're equally fucking matched.
Yeah, and he could just go, lightsaber catch, and he catches the lightsaber and then probably absorbs it and spews it back out at him. So, like...
Exactly.
You don't understand. But one thing I didn't know about Visions, and I just looked it up, and I think you're gonna go, oh, when you hear this, is all 9 episodes will be available at the same time.
Okay, no, I'm happy with that because it's an anthology. I if it was a series, I'd be like, but it's an anthology. I've been expecting to binge watch it over like 3 days. So no, yeah. I'm happy that was confirmed.
So all 9 will drop on 22nd of September.
I'm happy it's 9. I thought it was 5.
No, it's 9. It's 9.
That's fucking great.
All 9 on the same day. You can just sit there and go, oh yes.
What date is that? Don't let it be a fucking Wednesday. Oh, it's a Wednesday.
It's like you knew.
It's like
it was going to be a Wednesday.
Oh, I now have to avoid things for like 3 days until I hit Friday.
Yeah, but I think they do a pretty good job of not giving spoilers for about a week. Usually, in general, about a week when something like this drops for a pretty big show.
No, what show was it? It was one of the Marvel shows, and I was really lucky that I fucking watched it. I think it was like Nerdist or IGN or like some really big fucking page, and they not in the caption, the picture was a spoiler, and everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and then also Mark Hamill like did it for you for Mandalorian as well.
Oh, he did, yeah. That was fucking really annoying.
I guess when we're in this industry, we have to just keep up. If we don't keep up on the day shit drops or whatever, we more than anyone run the risk of seeing something. So I guess we just have to kind of watch everything as it drops.
Everything. Like, it happens regularly. We have to look through a bunch of like sites for this type of shit. Every time I see something that I like, I close my eyes and I just like scroll a few things past it. So I probably miss a bunch of shit, but I'm like, no, and I just like scroll down. I get so scared.
I do as well, but sometimes they do a good job of hiding it in the title. They kind of go blah blah blah, and then they just put a bracket spoiler, and then you don't read, you just don't click into it. But sometimes they just put it in the fucking heading. It's like the first word. But yeah, do you have anything else for TV shows? It's kind of quiet. Visions was kind of the main thing we kind of wanted to talk about.
It was the main thing. There's a lot of things coming in about Fear the Walking Dead, and it's again a show I completely forgot about. But I do like just moving past that a little bit. I just saw it there because I saw the phrase "this show's radiated zombies," and I'm like, okay, that's where this show is going. But no, it's more so. The only thing I want to say is just there seems to be like Disney Plus seems to be getting a bunch of fucking just a load of series that I just never. I think Why the Last Man is also on. That's a show that I really wanted to watch. It sounds really interesting. It's a post-apocalyptic, I think drama or something. And hang on, let's see if this registers. Did. It's a post-apocalyptic drama, and it looked really interesting. But it's just not the show I would expect Disney to get. But that's the thing. It's the one interesting thing with Disney Plus is it's actually one of the few ones I would not cancel because they are always adding on shows. I'm like, I kind of want to watch that. Amazon is probably, as soon as I watch Invincible, I'm cancelling Amazon Prime. There's nothing else on it that I want. Netflix, I want to keep as well, but that's more so because there's a few shows that we're in the middle of watching that come on to Netflix, so I want to keep that.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have those shows, I wouldn't have it either. But Disney Plus is actually, at the beginning, I know as soon as we saw Disney Plus, it's all going to be Disney stuff. And Disney in one place. And we're like, oh, okay. And then they kind of started bringing on a few of their lesser known TV shows. We're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then they got Star, and a bunch of things came on. And then I was like, okay, Star is pretty cool. It has a bunch of the older ones. That was really unusual. That's okay. And then The Walking Dead came onto it. And I know as soon as we saw that, me and you were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like on Disney. I know Why the Last Man has come to it. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, like Disney have really like, at the beginning it really just was like a nostalgia thing.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
The majority of people that bought it as at the beginning was just kind of like, oh my god, like we'll be able to watch all these films in the one place. How cute! And then it's like, it was that was gonna get old quick, I think.
Oh yeah, it did.
So they acted very quickly. In fairness to them, with the whole buying Star, because with Star it brought so much again old shit, but it also had some new stuff like The Walking Dead and stuff. So like, okay, The Walking Dead is probably a dead show at the moment, but like it's still pretty big. So like Disney have really just kind of turned to Netflix and said, yeah, what now?
We're your
like,
competitors.
yeah, like we're here now, because like for a long time Netflix just ran the show, and like, but now it's like Disney are like putting it up to them. I don't think they quite surpassed them yet, but they probably will at some stage if Netflix don't fucking cop on.
Won't be surprised, honestly. And that's the thing. Like, okay, we have Paramount Plus as well, and we got fucking Apple TV and all this shit, but none of them have acted as efficiently as what Disney Plus did. Because like, I remember back at the very beginning, it's like, oh, it's a nostalgia thing, and people tried it for the free trial and kept it on for a month or two. It was like, it's just this, and then stopped watching it. Then The Mandalorian came out, and people were like, oh, okay, let's watch all the Mandalorian Star Wars stuff. Kept it for another few weeks, but as soon as Mandalorian was done, people cancelled their subscriptions. So then they were like, what's the point? And then Disney were like, okay, let's just release a few other Marvel things. So they released a few like Marvel related items onto the thing, and they're like, oh, cool, there's all this. So people bought it back. And as soon as they brought back the Marvel things, they were like, here's Star, here's all these shows. They were like, we just renewed our thing. Oh, we need to keep this now, which is exactly what I did. I had a fucking free trial, did it then, I was like, oh god, Star is there. I fucking might as well keep it on now, shouldn't I?
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. And in fairness, they did it very well with the whole like, we know people will just get it for a month or get it for 2 months just to watch Mandalorian and cancel. So drop something big while they have the subscription to keep them on. Because if they would have dropped that after Mandalorian was done or before Mandalorian was out, it wouldn't have had the same effect.
No, it would not have.
So they played it really, really smart.
We know we call them money grab and stuff for that, but they're rich for a reason because they actually make very smart decisions half the time.
Very smart.
With their theatre release, we don't have that much more to go on, so we might as well transfer into
I was about to do the exact same segue.
Yeah, I knew I had a feeling you were gonna even with their theatre release because of the popularity and the success of Shang-Chi, they're now going to be exclusively releasing the next 6 movies in theaters. Fuck.
You had it.
I know. I thought I said it weird. In theaters only, which is an interesting return to what we used to be. So that inspires hope, but I'm interested to see what happens because I was amazed to see just how well Shang-Chi did in theaters.
Yeah, in fairness, it did really, really well, and it also then begs the question: what would have happened if Black Widow was just theater released? And I think that's kind of where they're coming from as well, because Shang-Chi was meant to come out like Black Widow, both at the same time, and then with the whole ScarJo thing, they were kind of like, okay, we can't really get another fucking shit show, another shit storm. So they were kind of like, okay, Shang-Chi will come out in streaming services 30 days later or some shit like that. And then it just did so well in theaters that they kind of just go, oh shit, ScarJo was right. And then so now that they're just going to be able to just put them out, and I think it is 30 days later to come out in streaming, which is fine for those that want to watch it in streaming. Yeah, that's fine. But they have the right and the duty to help the theater industry continue. They can't just kill it themselves, because they will single-handedly kill it if they just start throwing shit at streaming services. Yeah. So it's good to see, and it's Disney, so it's not just Marvel stuff, it is Disney originals as well that will come to theaters first, because we got Cruella at the same time, we got Black Widow, we got Mulan, we got all those at the exact same time. So now it'll be good to finally just get theater release and then streaming.
Yeah, that's what I thought about halfway through that sentence. Seeing how well it did in theaters, as you say, it was like, oh god, ScarJo was really right. But I find it funny that it did so well in theaters, and all the actors were like, we're not an experiment with this, we're not doing like this, and they did really well. It's we might be an experiment.
yeah, exactly. I
understand. Yeah, I understand. I understand that how annoying it can be to just be kind of felt used.
Yeah. In
that type of industry, and I could definitely see how they would feel used, but at the same time, you kind of gotta trust a big company, because when we had this whole discussion about it, we said that there was rights and wrongs to both sides, so we're not just saying that Disney is right the whole time. I know there's a lot of things that Disney do that we still don't like, but at the same time, there's a few times where you kind of just gotta go, we gotta trust what they're doing at this point, because if this movie failed this much here, or didn't perform as well as it could have, maybe they saw something that the actors didn't and want to do it this way, and they did, and that's the thing. I would have kind of preferred if the actors held off from making any comment before the movie was released, because if they held off and it was they saw how well the movie was released, they could then turn and go, okay, Disney made a good choice on doing that. But if they made a really bad decision, then they were like, oh, we were told that we were going to be an experiment and this is how the experiment failed, then they have a more of a right, and then we would be more on the actress side of things.
Yeah.
But, like, because they released it before the movie came out and we didn't know how it was going to perform, we were on neither side of things. But now that it came out and it did so well, we can kind of look at the actors and go, you overreacted a little bit. We said it today as well, they overreacted a little bit because you have to have experiments and trials.
Someone has to be the experiment.
Someone has to be it. If you don't like it, you can definitely voice your opinion, but there's a few times where we were like, you're going a bit far with how you're feeling at the moment. But they did really well, and now that's, for me, their success is tainted by the fact that they complained about how it was going to do.
Definitely.
And now it fucking broke records, and then they're like, well, we complained about it.
Yeah, because at the time it felt like no matter what Disney said, either it's going straight to both or just theaters, I feel like the actors would have come out and complained about either option, because that's what it feels like. Maybe I'm wrong, but it almost feels like they would have either way. That's why, like, the whole ScarJo thing was, I respect her for it, because she gave it time. She didn't like bitch about it straight away, like before it came out. Like, she wasn't like, oh, it's coming to streaming and like they're doing me wrong. She kind of let it happen. She was kind of like, okay, we'll see how it goes, we'll see what happens with the money, we'll see what's going on. Gave it like a week and then said, yeah, that was bullshit, and then came out, and that's why she got so much support for it.
Yeah,
like, to the point that the Russo brothers have said that they're not ever doing a Marvel movie again. Like, that's massive. Like, that's such a big loss for them, and they know that. They know they fucked up big time there. Now, could that relationship be fixed? Probably, if you throw enough money at them. But I feel like they have to resolve the ScarJo thing before they can even get, before other actors start to like follow suit. Like, could you imagine if like Chris Hemsworth just said, yeah, fuck this, like, and you just lose Thor, like, before your Thor movie comes out, or like Benedict Cumberbatch goes, yeah, fuck this, like, you'd be so fucked. So like, I think they need to fix that quick.
They really do. And it was interesting when you said like the Russos never making another Marvel movie. Like, I feel like a load of people are just going to be like, oh, we're never going to get another good Marvel movie again, or they're like, oh, they just know the Russos from Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And as soon as you say that, they're like, oh, the Russos aren't going to do anything. Or it's like, are they quitting? It's like, I don't think people actually realize how many movies the Russo brothers were involved in, even over the past few years.
Oh, yeah.
Even TV series. They were some of the main producers, I think writers as well. I don't know about writers, but I think the producers of Community. And I don't know how many people, I didn't even know that until I started watching it. And I was like, damn, this is pretty awesome. But like, looking through all these shows, there are so many that were like, there's so many shows and shows and movies that were worked on while they were at Marvel, and it's just crazy to look at it all. But I know as soon as they say that the Russo brothers never make another Marvel movie, people are going to think, oh, what are they going to do? It's like, what are they going to do? They're going to make a better living than any of us are ever going to fucking do.
Yeah, I can guarantee you that much. Yeah. Like, that's big loss. And like, could you imagine if they went to DC just like James Gunn did? Like, that'd be a real, like, just fuck you, like. But yeah, we'll move on from Marvel, will we?
Sure. What do you got?
From Marvel to DC. Did you watch the Injustice trailer?
There's an Injustice trailer?
The movie, yeah. It's an animated movie.
Yeah, here it is. I had a feeling this is coming out, and I'm happy that they're finally going towards one of their biggest plot lines in the DC universe is the Injustice theme. It's fucking darkest.
Oh,
really, like, it's
so
also
dark.
definitely one of its darkest. It's so, like, how the whole thing starts is ridiculously dark.
Yeah, like, super dark. The Injustice is amazing. and it's made by the oh no, I think it's based off the game or some shit like that. But
based off a comic.
Yeah, but I think they're kind of going off the game as well a little bit. Which is then where a couple of complaints are coming in. That is like, because if you watch the trailer, right, I think it's a pretty good trailer because it does two things, and people complain about these two things.
Okay.
One, it kind of doesn't show you anything. Like, it doesn't show you anything at all about what it is or anything. So it's like, that's good because that's grand. Like, I'd rather a trailer that doesn't show me anything about what the story's going to be like, because then you just get no spoilers. And the other thing that people are complaining about is the fact that they're kind of, the trailer's kind of like, oh, you kind of need to have played the game to know what's going on. And it's like, not really, because once you watch the movie, you know what the fuck's going on. Like, the trailer's not there to, like, tell you, okay, so this is going, like, the trailer's there to kind of get you, like, to go, okay, this movie's coming out, this looks cool. My other thing with this film is that it's a film. Like, Injustice is such
I don't like this movie because it's a movie.
You know, and I'll get it's because it's such an intricate story. It's such a there's so much in this story that I feel like a movie won't be able to capture all of it. I feel like a TV show might be able to capture it a little better. But I mean, they could do it right. They usually don't get animated stuff wrong in DC. They usually kind of got that pretty well. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see till October something to watch it and see.
Does it say when?
19th. October 19th. So it's not too far. And it's kind of just came out of nowhere. Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm a bit off with the art style. I don't like when they talk. It looks a bit weird. When there was kind of like, I saw Wonder Woman flying. It was like, that looks like you just fucking copied and pasted it on something, screen recorded, and then dragged the element across the screen. That didn't look great. The voices were a little bit weird. And who voices the Joker in that?
I'm not sure.
I'll look it up as you go through it. But I see what you mean. I do think it would benefit from a TV series a bit more. They also did spoil the big, like, reasoning why it all happened, which is the whole Lois Lane thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
In case people don't want to know about it, we won't say it because it's like the whole point of that, like, first few comics is that bit where you're like, holy shit, they just did that.
Yeah, it really is one of the darkest DC stuff out there. It's super dark.
Oh yeah,
incredibly so. But I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and just kind of see what's going on here, because I really don't know.
Yeah.
He's voiced by Kevin Pollak.
I know that name. You filled that a lot faster than I did.
IMDb.
What impressions?
He's in a Few Good Men, The Whole 10 Yards, End of Chicago, the Usual Suspects.
Yeah, a lot of fucking things. Fair.
He's in a lot of fucking yeah.
And still to be in a lot of different things too.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, like, I'm sure it'll be good. It probably won't be amazing. But it'll be good. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about it, really. There's not much else you can say.
There's not really, no.
Yeah, that's kind of it, really, about that.
Do you want to talk about the other big fucking trailer that we got?
Yeah. I'm guessing it's the one I'm thinking. Matrix?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was desperately trying to think of a way I could, like, strategically hint towards it without giving it away, but no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Matrix 4. what's it called? Matrix Resurrections. Okay, we'll hit on the trailer first. Amazing.
Oh, good.
Great trailer. Great. Shows action packed. We get to see Keanu. We get to see a couple of others come back and stuff. So it's kind of like, okay, cool. But I don't care. I think, like, okay, Matrix 1, fantastic, groundbreaking. 2, 3, god awful.
No, yeah.
And then, so I feel like 4 is going to try do one or two things. One, go super nostalgia and just try and get like the people that like the first one to come back and like feed into that, like give them like little hints from the first one and like characters from the first one, and just constantly just going, hey look, we're nostalgia, like remember the first one. Or it's just gonna go just John Wick. It's just gonna go John Wick and with like Keanu, and it's just gonna go action, and just no story. But I don't know.
It's interesting that you said that. It's interesting how you said like the first one was awesome and brilliant. Second one was it has some moments, and the third one was god awful. And then hopefully this fourth one's going to hit on the nostalgia and bring the people who like the old one back in, and then as well as keeping new fans intrigued into it. Yeah. Excuse me. That just made me realise that's the exact pattern the Jurassic Park franchise take.
Yeah.
First one, a masterpiece. Second one, had its moments. Third one, god awful. Fourth one, hitting nostalgia. Fifth one,
yeah, because I feel like this is exactly what's going to be, and it'll probably be the exact same thing. It'll probably be like, Matrix Resurrections will be a good hit. It'll be really good, and people will enjoy it because of that nostalgia factor. And then they'll be like, you know what? Let's make a fucking another one. And then they're gonna be like, okay, we've got them in, we've roped them in with the nostalgia. Now let's be original, and just suck. And then just be like, okay, do we stop or do we go for the 6? Like, I don't know. And like, I love Keanu, but like this man should have been like, no, please no. Also, would have liked to see short-haired Keanu.
I'm happy with this because like he's gonna be there. He's been in the Matrix for a good long while, but I guess like they were always fucking skinheaded at the beginning, so I don't know. But no, like I don't know if he should have said no to it just yet. I think if they go along the same pattern as Jurassic Park did, as soon as the fourth one is done, he stops. If they say a fifth one, he goes, I'm not going to be part of this.
Yeah, he has to.
As soon as that happens, I don't care. Like if he does that, I'm happy. But if he does continue on, then I'll agree and say, yeah, he should just say fucking no to this at this point. Yeah, it'll just taint it.
Yeah, it will taint. It will like, and I feel like if the Matrix, the original one, would have came out and just been a one standalone film, it would potentially, and I'm saying potentially because it's a hot take, but potentially be one of the greatest films of all time.
So technically is.
It'd probably be up there, no, even further up than it already is.
Okay.
But the fact that 2 and 3 bring that down. Yeah. 2 and 3 take away from the first one. Because you watch the first one, you're like, whoa, that was amazing. And then you go, but there's also 2 and 3 to go watch. You know? It's like Jaws. Jaws in itself is a masterpiece. But you also gotta go, but there's Jaws 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, God, let's not talk about 3 and 4. Like, you're like, That's dead right. Jaws 1 is seen as one of the best movies of all time, and rightfully fucking so. It is.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you can rewatch that movie any day of the week and still be impressed by things. But, like, 2... See, 2 is watchable. I still feel 2 is watchable.
It is.
You can, like... There's still a realm of possibility. The scariest thing about the first one is even though the shark is 20 feet fucking tall... 25, sorry. 25 feet fucking long... It still had a realm of terror behind it because it felt so real. The second one, okay, he took down a helicopter, but it still had its elements of realism to it. And I was like, okay, fine. The third one has and I'm going to say worst visual effects that has ever graced the screen. Sorry, has ever disgraced the screen. And the acting in it is god fucking awful. But you can distance yourself from it because it was that 3D time of world where it's like, oh, this is bigger than new, let's shove as many things as we can. But that scene where he headbutts the bloody glass in the underwater aquarium is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
It
and the fourth one,
bad. It literally looks like a kid printed out a picture of a shark, cut it out, and stuck it to a piece of paper. It looks so bad.
And then the fourth one, I only have to say the phrase, the shark roars.
Stop, don't even. Like, it's so bad to the point that, like, in what is it there? Back to the Future, when they go to the future, they have like a thing that's like Jaws 64, like, because they just think that it's gonna keep coming out. Like, at some stage they should have just said, lads, stop. Just someone should have just stepped in and go, lads, please, for the love of God, stop touching Jaws. Just stop.
It's already dead.
It's dead. Like, I mean, and like we've said it a gazillion times over, it is a masterpiece. The first one is a masterpiece. It is, to this day, still studied for the just amazing. Like, the fact that we don't get to see the shark pretty much at all till like the end, but you're terrified of this shark that you've never seen because of the song, the suspense, that we know it's there, they know it's there, but we can't fucking see it. It's just amazing. And again, this film would be even further up on the greatest movies of all time if it wasn't followed by fucking 4 shitty ass movies.
I guess that's just how strong Jaws actually is.
Oh, yeah.
It's still considered one of the greatest movies of all time, even though it's followed by some of the fucking worst.
Oh, it honestly is. It's like, and I think it takes away from it, and it's the same thing with The Matrix, is because once it's done, we're able, if it's just a standalone film, we're able to kind of go, oh, like, this is what happened at the, like, further on, this is what happens to the character. We're able to come with a conclusion of what we think will happen to the character and be satisfied with that. But once you give us a sequel, now it's like, oh, that didn't live up to what I wanted. Like, could you imagine, like, the greatest film of all time probably is like Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that's definitely a hot take.
I don't know. I think it's probably the best one out there. What would you say?
See, if we're just going down the realms of what, like, just movie quality and what was like one of some of the biggest things of all, just some of the biggest movies.
Yeah.
Movies like Lawrence of Arabia, all those type of like older movies that are just so mind-blowingly massive.
Yeah.
Are more up there. Like, the thing is, Shawshank Redemption is a fantastic movie, but it's fantastic because it's utilized all really good acting, all type of stuff that has been implemented into place by movies that have gone by. So like movies like Lawrence of Arabia, Citizen Kane, all type of stuff, just, and even Jaws, all had things that were just like so mind-blowingly just new at that point that it was like, this is what, and they are good quality movies. If you have both of those in one, that's where you see some of the best movies of all time coming in, not fucking Paddington 2. You Rotten Tomatoes, who I need to come back to in a moment.
Yeah, but okay, let's just take Shawshank Redemption. Okay,
sure.
Some people think it's the best, some don't, but it's pretty. well, we can all agree on it's an amazing film, right?
Yeah.
But could you imagine if we got a sequel? Like, could you imagine if we got a sequel of them fucking fixing that boat on the fucking beach and then going on the run because they nearly get caught? Like, it would take so much away from the first one. It would just make the first one so shit. It'd just be like, well, fuck this. Like, that's why it is hard for, and I know it is hard when a movie does so well to just go leave it alone, because you're like, it did so well, we can make more money, but just leave it alone. But yeah, what are you gonna say about Paddington 2? Don't just say anything about it.
No, admittedly, I'm not saying anything about Paddington 2. I'm saying something shit about just Rotten Tomatoes, and it's got a lot of flack in recent days, but the most recent one that I'm seeing now is about Dune, actually. And because when we looked it up, I don't know if it was last episode or 2 episodes ago, I think it was last episode, when I looked it up, I saw good, and I could only describe it, I saw real mixed reviews, but there was no in between.
Yeah.
But the reason behind that is Rotten Tomatoes is one of the first things that comes up when it's there. So some of the other reviewers, and I think it was like director or some publishers, have come out and said that I can't find it anymore because I've lost it. But Rotten Tomatoes, whatever the fuck, are hiding the good reviews behind the shit reviews that Rotten Tomatoes are giving it. So Rotten Tomatoes, their reviews are putting it down a bit further, while there are other really good reviews out there that are saying that, like Empire gave it 5 out of 5, and other high brand movie critics gave it really high, saying it's one of the best movies that's going to come out.
Yeah.
But then we have other more forum based critic reviews that are putting it down a bit further, that are saying it's really bad.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder. It comes back to what we were talking about, the whole industry of reviewing. If you're well known and you're out there, you are literally your name is beside this thing. It's so hard to give a really, really bad review of something if everyone else is giving a good review of it. Because there's no physical opinion, there's no personal opinion on it anymore. But because of smaller independent reviewers and critics and forum review sites like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that, people get a little bit more open with their reviews, so they will obviously not feel the pressure to give a good review for a movie that they think is bad, even though other people are giving it good reviews. They will give a bad review and put it up there and then. But Empire won't do it because they're more in the public eye. But you can go on a forum page and just do it there, and you will still make an impact, obviously, because look at Rotten Tomatoes. But you're not as pinned to it. You're not being like, oh, Rotten Tomatoes gave it this because of all these people. It's not Empire gave it this because of these few. So Empire can get a lot more flack from it because these few people are like, yep, you're dying over there. So, and it is interesting because one of the main... Sorry, there's an ad that just came up for Sky, I think. And it's a minion pressing a fucking Sky Q box, but its clothes have been stripped. I'm actually taking a picture of it right now before it fucking changes, and I will post this because this is one of the funniest fucking things I've seen ever. It's so weird. It's a naked minion being flung by. But with those reviews, the main thing people will always look at, whether it's the news, whether it's just a book, whatever the fuck it is, just a person walking down the street, someone sees a mistake or something bad, they are going to focus on it. That's what the news is nowadays. It's just bad news. Yeah. So if you see on a forum page a few people giving bad reviews, they're going to be read more than the ones that are being good reviews. So when I was looking at Dune, I was looking at the good reviews because I do want this movie to succeed. Yeah. And it really does seem to be. But then there's some people like Rotten Tomatoes, which lay people will go straight to because it's easy enough to just find reviews for it on that. See it being so mixed, we'll see that it's being dropped a good bit and be like, oh, is it really that good of a movie? Well, it's personal preference. That's the main thing with reviews. It's the main things that we always talk about in private. When it comes about reviews and critics, is it's personal preference.
Yeah, it is.
You can go watch a movie that no one likes and love it. I've done in the past. I will rewatch the Resident Evil series from start to end without even having shameful thought.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Yeah, and like Rotten Tomatoes has been proven to be not what's it called?
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit and not reliable. Like,
yes,
I'm on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment, and I clicked into the top 100 action adventure movies of all time that they've rated.
Okay.
What do you think is number one? I could give you a billion guesses and you'd never guess it.
I know I wouldn't guess it. At the same time, think of okay. If I'm going to go action adventure,
yeah,
I'm going to assume Indiana Jones should be up there somewhere. Oh my God, you're scrolling.
I am scrolling.
Oh my God, is that already an indication of how shit this is?
I am still scrolling.
What number are you at?
47.
Like, what number is your eye on? 47, and you're yet to hit Raiders?
Yeah.
Oh, the rest of this could fucking just be you scrolling through this, and I'm okay. We're running out of time.
Yeah, not there.
What?
Yeah, not there.
As an action adventure movie,
yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes does not have either the first, even the third one isn't there.
Nope.
That is heinous. What's number one then?
Black Panther.
Fuck off.
Black Panther. And okay,
it's a superhero movie.
A superhero movie, right? If it was The Dark Knight, you'd be like, "That's grand," right? The biggest.
No, if it was The Dark Knight, it'd still be like it's a superhero movie. It's not an action; it's a thriller.
Well, yeah, but the most bullshit thing is The Dark Knight Rises at 52, and at 100 is Batman Begins. The Dark Knight is nowhere to be seen.
Ooh.
Do you want to know what number 6 is?
What?
And then we'll end it there.
Yeah.
Coco.
What the fuck?
One, Black Panther.
I'm never using Rotten Tomatoes again.
Shit. Mission Impossible Fallout is 2.
Where's Mission Impossible? Something fell. Where's Mission Impossible?
Mad Max Fury Road. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Wonder Woman, the first one. Dunkirk. Star Wars The Last Jedi.
What?
At 8. Thor Ragnarok.
I'm never using Rotten Tomatoes.
The Force Awakens. Incredibles 2.
What?
Zootopia.
You can keep saying movies. What is still going to come out my mouth?
War for the Planet of the Apes.
Okay, fair.
Baby Driver. That's fair.
No, that's not. That's not action adventure. That's
it is
a
action.
Crime caper.
It's
action, but that's an adventure. It's not an adventure though.
Spider-Man: Homecoming. Metropolis. That's a very old film. Jesus. Jaws. Okay, Jaws.
But
it's a thriller. It's a thriller. Up. That's it.
What? Oh, wait! You're actually being serious? I thought you were joking.
Up is there. No, Up is there. Like, give me a genre. Give me a genre.
Thriller.
Thriller. They don't have thriller. Horror. I can go horror.
Horror. Let's go horror.
Right. What do you think number one is? Never heard
number
of this.
One. Okay. If it's going to be number one horror, I'll be surprised if The Shining isn't up the top. Even though it's not that much of a horror anymore, it's still a pretty fucking good one.
The Shining. Let me just control F. It'll be easier.
Yeah.
Shining. Oh, it's not there.
You cannot be serious.
It's not there.
I'm not that big a fan of The Shining, but I still admit that it's up there.
Yeah.
What's number one?
Get Out.
No. Get Out is overrated.
Yeah, and then it's The Babadook.
Yeah, Babadook's pretty good.
Hereditary.
No.
Let the Right One In.
Yes, okay, finally a movie that I do. It's a French one. It's really good though.
It Follows.
Yes, fair.
Freaks.
Okay, this is better. Never heard of it.
It's really old.
It was a
1932.
exclamation mark. Fuck.
Night of the Living Dead.
What?
1968.
Okay.
One Cut of the Dead. 2019.
No.
The Witch.
Okay.
The Cabin in the Woods. It. The Birds. Drag Me to Hell.
Okay.
A Girl Walking Home. Alone at Night. Carrie.
Okay. Wait, which Carrie?
1976.
Okay.
So
like
room
that one's
room 237's there, but not The Shining. That's a documentary.
Wait, The Room?
No, Room 237.
Oh,
that's the documentary about The Shining.
Oh.
Okay, so maybe that one wasn't too bad. Action Adventure was quite horrible.
Action Adventure just makes sense.
Yeah, we can.
At all.
We'll do one more and then we'll move on because we're running.
Comedy.
Okay, comedy.
I'm terrified of this one. And I have the movie I want you to Alt F4 pretty quickly.
Alt F4 as I'm getting
Airplane.
Yeah.
If it's not there, we're ending the show.
Right,
and I don't mean the episode. I mean
you know
the
where
show.
to follow us. On
oh, you're kidding me.
This is bad.
Airplane is not.
No. Not there.
What's one? Just tell me no one. We'll move on. I'm too hurt.
It happened one night.
I don't even know that movie.
But neither do I. 2 is Lady Bird.
What?
3 is Black Klansman.
Sheep? Okay.
Philadelphia. Number 5 is Coco. Number 10 is Paddington 2.
What?
Number 12 is Toy Story 3.
What?
La La Land is at 8.
La La Land?
Oh, this is Finding Nemo at 16. The Lego Movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp. What?
No, let's get out. No,
we're
stop.
Getting out. We gotta move on.
That's it. No,
Shaun the Sheep. Okay, stop. Grand Budapest Hotel's there at 28 though.
Oh,
very
low.
Fine.
That's way too low. If you learn anything from us and like listen to us, don't use Rotten Tomatoes. This is the worst.
That was.
But we've got to move on. We have a load to talk about in games.
Yeah, let's move on. I can't stop staring at this list. I gotta close it. Okay, right. Okay, so big week for PS5 fans.
Yeah,
we had the
now.
What's the show?
Sorry, before we go, I can't remember. It's like PlayStation reveal or some shit. But before we go any further, let's just say there are a lot of really cool things coming out of this and a lot of things we're excited for. I want to get that out in the open just before we start ranting or anything like that. A load of things impressed us. We can't wait for some of the things that come out.
Yes.
Let's just get that out there before we go into anything else.
Yeah, amazing stuff. In fairness to Sony, they made a balls of it, I think, like a couple of months ago when they released a couple of things and it was really poor. Like they had that marble card game and like people were kind of like, oh fuck, like we're gonna get nothing now for ages. And so like the hype for this was nowhere to be found for this showcase. And then they came out with Spider-Man 2, which looks awesome. I think it's Spider-Man and Miles Morales come together
cool.
with Venom. Venom's in it, so that's cool. The only issue I have with that one is the length. How long is this gonna be? If it's gonna be again like the first Spider-Man, that's like 15 hours of gameplay, that's too little.
And that's completionist.
Yeah,
that's a completionist run of it.
Way too short. If you give us 50 hours, okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty long enough completionist run for a Spider-Man game.
Yeah. Now I think they do say it's going to be massive, so I hope it hits that level. But at the same time, they were saying similar things about the first one, and like loads of people love to rant about the first Spider-Man game. And as we say, it's 15 hours as a completionist run. It's good, but even my brother, who is a completionist, was just like, "Yeah, I'm stopping this." He didn't spend that long at it, so like it's good, but it's not worth the high price tag that could be there. So hopefully this is, and I'm holding out hope that it is.
Yeah, that's my main thing with the Spider-Man game, is that it's 60-70 euro for 50 hours. Like what? You could pay fucking 20 euro to get Skyrim and have 100 plus hours. Like
I have bought Skyrim 4 times, and I have I think I hit 2,000 hours in it the other day.
Yeah, like that's like if you said Spider-Man is €40, okay, that's fair enough. But to pay a price tag of a AAA game for 15 hours of gameplay and not much replay value, it's kind of shitty. So hopefully this will be big. Hopefully this will be much bigger, and they have kind of hinted at that, and the game's not coming out till 2023, so there's still a long way to go. So potentially will be longer than the first one. The next,
is it Ragnarok next?
Yeah, God of War Ragnarok.
This is one that even I'm like, holy shit, yeah.
Oh, it just looks so beautiful. The first one was amazing. They never played it, but we just know it's amazing.
Well, see, the first one's actually the fourth one.
Well, yeah, but like I mean, the first new
of the Celtic ones.
Yeah, it's just amazing, fucking beautiful, long. I think that's the main thing we gotta drive home. It is quite a long story.
Lengthy old game.
A lengthy
game story.
And now we're getting God of War Ragnarok. So kind of like we'll see Thor. I'm pretty sure I think we'll see Thor anyway.
Of course we do. Yeah, he's fat in it.
Yeah. So like we'll get that. So that's gonna be a big one. That's the biggest one, I think.
For anyone, that should be the biggest one.
Yeah, and like this will be heavily compared to Valhalla, I think, because Valhalla touches on Ragnarok as well, and Thor and all those guys. So
you mean Assassin's Creed Valhalla?
Yeah.
Yours won't be compared to the first one, no?
What?
You sure you won't just be compared to the first God of War? Like, just...
Oh no, I'm sure it will be, but I'm saying like story wise, because they both touch on it, so it'd be like who told the story better. I think that's where I'm coming from. They'll be compared like this is what Assassin's Creed could have been, or this is what God of War could have been. I think they'll be compared. I think God of War win that battle anyway, but like that's amazing. That's awesome.
I think they're pretty different. I think it could be okay, but yeah, no, that looks to be the best of what came out.
It just looks beautiful. Yeah. The next one, which is not a big one, but I kind of like that they keep going, because it kind of it's kind of created like a little, not rivalry, but it's kind of like,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I love
Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah,
like that's their that's the PlayStation. For those that don't know Gran Turismo, because it's not that big, it's the car game.
Not as big. Yeah, but okay, this is my thing. I love how we like Xbox have Forza and PS have Gran Turismo. I do love that. But in all fairness, if you think Gran Turismo looks better than Forza, you need to get your eyes checked, because even the trailer for Forza is just crazy good with all its different things. But the thing is, it's in game. That's the best thing about Forza, is everything they show is in game engine. Yeah, and you just see how, like, I remember when I was at E3. I wasn't at E3. I was watching on a fucking laptop. When I was watching that trailer, I was like, whoa, this shit looks fucking like you're just controlling a real car. Yeah. Even Forza will always blow my mind at how good it looks. But that's sort of the thing for Gran Turismo, and I was like, it looks good, but it just doesn't have that same realism value or realistic looking value that Forza has. So I think that's the reason why it's not as big, because Forza is just more aesthetically mind-boggling. Whoa. But Gran Turismo is still really cool, and they have their own, people who like racing games and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool.
So it's kind of cool. It does look nice. It does look nice, but it not compared to Forza. Forza is just crisp, beautiful, amazing. It's literally like if you played that game VR, you'd probably forget that you're playing in VR. It's that fucking crisp. I mean, just look at the flight simulator that they have. And like, if they are able to do that on a world scale, imagine what they could do it at a smaller condensed scale with just cars.
You got
so like beautiful. But Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah,
it's been a while since we got one. I think was it?
I think so, because Forza is usually a yearly release thing, but usually like Forza Motorsport, or it'll be Forza Horizon. This year it's Forza Horizon, which again I'm still looking forward to. Looks really cool. Might give it a play. I've given the other ones a play, so I might as well give this one too.
Oh boy, I don't. 6 was a long time ago.
Yeah, as far as I remember, it's been a while, so it's good to see it come back up again.
PS3 long ago.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, 2013. That's so long ago. So yeah, that's good to. It's good to see it come back. The other one, I think, is the last one. I could be wrong. You tell me. The last one we got, and we didn't really get a trailer. It was more of a teaser. Was the Wolverine game.
You are kind of around. There's one or two other ones, but okay. Now this is the one that we're going to cause divisions on. Not me and you, like division between us. We have the same thought process, but I think of people.
Yeah.
I am not looking forward to this at all.
Yeah. Neither. I'm not necessarily looking forward to it, but I'm not totally like I don't want it. That kind of way.
I kind of am. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I understand why you don't want it.
Let me explain, because if I just say I don't want it, I don't say anything.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm a dick. I don't want it because we've gotten so many decades worth of content with Wolverine. And
so
then
long.
in 2018?
Yeah.
When was Logan? Was that 19 or 18? Because I went to see it in cinema. In 2018-ish, we got to say goodbye to him. We literally...
17.
That was the year that... 2017. I probably saw it in 18. That was the year that we said goodbye to him in one of the most emotionally wrapped up and satisfying endings that anyone could ever have.
Yeah.
And there's been a few other things of like podcast stories and graphic novels of him, and he's obviously going to be in this Midnight Sun thing, which is a fucking card game. It was the perfect reaction to that game. But I said goodbye to him, and we all did, and we haven't got anything from him. So there's no it was just a satisfying ending. That anything else that involves him is just going to feel a bit, not money grabbing, just, oh, remember this guy type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, remember this person that you loved? I was like, I do. I said goodbye to him. Fuck, it's like releasing Black Widow, the movie. We said goodbye to her in Endgame. There's no point in it now because we said goodbye to her.
Yes.
So this is the same thing, just with fucking Wolverine. I'm gonna look forward to it, not because I don't get to play it because it's on PS5 or like, for all I know. That's actually another thing that came up as well about PS4 to PS5 things, but I won't go into it now. But like, if it was back in 2016 and this game was teased, I'd lose my mind. I think it's this is unreal. We got another Wolverine thing. But it's been 4 years and I haven't looked at Wolverine since.
Yeah.
And now a game's coming up. I'm not intrigued. I'm not interested in it. Even the Spider-Man games, I think a lot of them. A lot of their hype is being helped, assisted, I can't remember, propelled by the movies because he's still a thing at the moment.
100%.
So they're still really big. When what the fuck is this game? Far From Home? What the fuck is this movie called? The third one? No Way Home. If this is Tom Holland's last one, and there's a sufficient ending to it, and that's it. It's a goodbye to Spider-Man for the next good long while, and then they release another Spider-Man game, I'd be like, what's the point? We say goodbye to Spider-Man. The same thing will happen. So I'm not looking forward to this one. Not because I don't get to play it. It's purely because I don't have any more emotional connection to Wolverine anymore outside of Logan.
Yeah, I think it's like they've talked about like recasting him and bringing back to the X-Men and stuff, and it's just it always is followed by a big fat no. Because Hugh Jackman just did such an amazing job at being Wolverine for so many decades, like 2 decades, but for so long. All
of our life. That's the thing. It's all of our life.
For so long being amazing as Wolverine that I think it's too soon. It's too soon. If you give it, if this was 2027, 10 years after Logan came out, and we got nothing from Wolverine in between, and you bring out a game, I'm pretty sure you'd be super hyped too, because it was so long, and it's been so long since we got anything from them. So it's like, that's grand. But it is. I understand where you come from. It's way too soon for this, and
in 4 years, like,
yeah, and I don't really know how the gameplay is gonna look, and that's my main hold back with it. It's like, I give it hope, but it all depends on the gameplay, because I'm not sure what it's gonna be like. And like because with Spider-Man you can have the suits, and you have the webs, and then you got the fighting style and whatever. But with Wolverine, it's really just his blades, like his hands. So like, it is kind of hard, other than just hand to hand, just fucking slicing each other. So I don't know.
I actually just realized another reason why I'm not looking forward to it is because I keep remembering the X-Men Origins Wolverine game, which was fucking also really good, a crazy game to play. But back then, it was okay to have like jumping around mechanics that like you were pretty much a rubber rag doll that would be able to like leap around the map really quickly.
Yeah,
it's grand, because back then that's what we had, and that was fun back then. But nowadays games are so realistic and such that if it doesn't have that realistic feel to it, it's gonna feel a bit like ropey and all that type of stuff. But the next thing that will support this is Logan was really gritty, and everyone's last thoughts or last feelings with, or experience is the best word, with Wolverine, whether it be on that podcast show, I can't remember what it's called, I think it's like the Long Night or something else. It's a gritty Wolverine. It's a real Wolverine. So this will have to be like a third person over the shoulder type of like Marvel Avengers game, which is, as you say, CQC, close quarters, hand to hand combat. And the issue with that is, if I see gameplay of it and it looks like the Avengers game, I'm going to be even less excited for it. Because that Avengers game is kind of hard to watch.
It is very hard to watch, and I think people are being tricked into believing that it's going to be beautiful because of that. And it always goes back to the thing, that trailer that we got, which is like 10 seconds long, is a cinematic. It's a cinematic. It is not actual game footage. It's a cinematic. So a cinematic, you can make it look as beautiful as you can. You can look up trailer versus video game, and then you will see the difference in many games, because trailers are always cinematic. And that's like even with Far Cry 6, when it was announced, I was like, yes. The trailer came out, I was like, yes, fuck yes. And then I saw the gameplay and I was like, maybe, because it didn't live up to that trailer, because it's cinematic. With cinematic, you can touch shit up, you can make it look crisp, you can make the movements look crisp, but once it comes to the game, you can't. It's either beautiful or not. And it usually
the biggest thing will be top downs.
Sorry?
Yeah, the biggest thing is top downs. If you go to StarCraft and you type in the cinematic trailers for it, you'd swear this game is going to be the biggest thing of all. It is now. I'm not saying StarCraft is the big game, but you'd swear it is an absolutely fucking master. It is. I can't really say it's any other way besides it looks like a completely different game. Yeah, it looks like a game different. That like a third person, just so cinematically realistic looking, and then it turns out it's a top down strategy game.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool, but you can't advertise a top down strategy game without people being like, alright.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing.
Oh. Yeah, are we going on to the same thing?
I don't know, probably not. You go.
Does it go Bijou?
No. Oh, I forgot about that.
Fuck. Yeah, I know you did, but we'll get back to that in a second. Because I want to rant a bit more on that. What's your next thing?
We got a fucking GTA 5 trailer.
Oh yeah, what was this?
I no one knows. It was kind of just a touched up for the PS5 release. That was it.
Xbox will also have it.
That was it. It was literally just, oh, here's how it's gonna look, and people were like, Okay. What else? Yeah, and we're moving back the release date to March, and it's like okay. Well, we didn't need this.
I didn't know about this.
So like, yeah, no, that one was just super lackluster. No one cared.
Christ.
Which they kind of got away with it because like there was so much other big things that like it was over, like the shitness of it was just overshadowed by the great
the shitness.
The shitness was overshadowed by the great things that came out of that showcase. And we got like Rainbow Six stuff.
Oh, Extraction. Yeah, we got some of that shit as well.
Who cares?
And like a hack and slash game.
Yeah, we got a Rainbow Six.
Oh,
it's called R6 Siege.
Fucking...
It's just an operator thing. It's shit.
Oh, never mind. We also got an Alan Wake remaster, which everyone knew of. No idea why it's been such a big fucking deal that's coming out. And Uncharted remaster or Legacy Collection, whatever the fuck.
Yeah. We also got a...
Oh, it brings the PC. Oh, I might actually play it for once.
We also got a little look. I didn't really look into how much we got, but we also got a bit of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is the fantasy-inspired Borderlands spin-off.
Again, there's already been one, so again, this is not a...
But to the potentially biggest one...
and most annoying...
is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. Now, this game is considered an absolute masterpiece. Even the original one is an absolute masterpiece. I think it's PS2. I want to say PS2. Was it?
I need to look it up because I was under the impression that it was just on Xbox, but I can't remember. KOTOR.
Okay, but so they've announced that they're doing a remake of this classic game. Beautiful. But I think the main issue that we have is people don't understand what a timed exclusive is. Like,
first off, the Knights of the Old Republic, the original one was just Windows, Xbox, Mac OS X, iOS, Android, and Linux, so it was not on PS.
Okay. It's a timed exclusive. Now, what does timed exclusive means? It means it'll come out first on PS5 and eventually will come out on Xbox.
Yep.
And a lot of people are like, wait, we got, like, fuck you. Like, currently the PS community is the worst at the moment. They're just super annoying at the moment. The absolute worst. But we've gotten to that in the past. And we knew this would have happened anyway. I mean, yeah, your exclusives are awesome, but they're also single player. Like, you have nothing that came out is multiplayer. Zero. Like, they just know you have no friends and just play single player games. Like, they don't care about multiplayer games. But they don't care about multiplayer games, and PS knows that. PS knows that they don't care. And they don't care, and they don't want to even attempt to make multiplayer games because they don't really care if you buy their console to play it on your own or play with a friend. They don't care. As long as you buy theirs and buy their games and you give them money, they don't really give a shit about you. And they really showed it when they don't give you multiplayer games. Like, Xbox always gives like 3 single player games and then like 3 multiplayer games, so you can like have the pick of the bunch. But with PS, it's always single player. Like, they just don't care if you want to play multiplayer games. They're like, you want to play multiplayer games? Okay, here's another single player game. But Star Wars Knight Republic, everyone's like, "Way, we fucking got it. You didn't." And it's like, you do know it's coming PS5 and PC first, and then eventually Xbox. Like, we will eventually get that. Like, you do know this. Oh yeah, but it's coming here first, and we're still gonna get it. No one cares.
Yeah, no, that's not the most annoying thing for me about it. Is the way that countless social media sites advertise Knights of the Old Republic being released, and like, yeah, and this isn't like, I actually kind of want to try and get away from just the comment sections of things because that is what it's filled of, and it's kind of obvious, but it's not helped by this. It, like, every single thing was Knights of the Old Republic released for PS5, That's exactly the phrasing that was used on a lot of headlines. It's released for PS5.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, it doesn't say only, but that doesn't matter. As soon as people read for PS5, they're going to say it's for Xbox. And then when they go into it, like, most people won't read into articles and stuff like that. They'll go to a comment section instantly and try to figure it out. And then it'll just be plagued with PS5 people saying, oh yeah, we got it. And Xbox people will be like, yeah, but like, we are going to get it because it was an exclusive on us before. Now it's not. Well, it was kind of exclusive. It was on PC as well. So I don't even care about how people are reacting because, yeah, if you get a timed release and you get it before us, you have a bit of leeway with it. Yeah, you can say, hey, we get it before you. It's like, okay, but we still get it. And as long as you're able to get, you say, yeah, you do after a while. But yeah, we still got it first. Like, okay, you can hold bragging rights over that. That's fair. But I hate how it's being advertised that it's coming out for PS5. It's like, and Xbox, just not yet.
Eventually.
And PC, just not yet. Just say that bit.
Yeah.
Because everyone is like, that's the fuel of a lot of this, is people are giving out or bragging that they're getting it, it's an exclusive. It's not. It is a timed release. And if you spend more than 30 seconds reading an article, or if the person that was writing the post on social media, spent more than 12 seconds rereading what the hell they just wrote, which it takes 3 seconds to reread it, so read it 4 times for fuck's sake, you'll know that as soon as someone reads that, they'll just think it's coming out for PS5. So like, these people are not helping the whole PS5 exclusives thing, which, because you said there, PS5 have great exclusives, but I keep replaying in my mind, do they? Because they have God of War is their perfect, like, long running series that's been brilliant, and maybe one game maybe has been debated. Halo is our longest running one, and one game is debated, which is fucking 5, which is just shit. But that's out of 8 games, and it's still beloved. And then you have on their side, you have I had a bunch of games lined up the other night when I was talking about this to myself. Like, we have Forza, they have Gran Turismo. I know Turismo took a break for a bit, but both of them have their own, like, set things. We have Gears of War, which was always good, and then, like, Judgment came out, but then it came back again, so it's still new and modern and doing really well. And like they had The Last of Us as well, but that's kind of where you start. There's another game that's really fucking good on PS exclusive range, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. I guess it's Ratchet & Clank. I'd say Ratchet & Clank for Gears of War. Ratchet & Clank games will go for ages. But after that, on either side of things, it goes down.
It does.
You have the first Last of Us, and that's grand. Then the second one, which caused such a big division between your fans, there's no point in keeping it up there anymore. Just say Last of Us 1. You have Death Stranding, which was one of the biggest disappointments known to man. And then you have Days Gone, which is only alright. So you have exclusives, but you have the same level of quality exclusives that Xbox have, that we have. So the fact that you're getting something early, you have bragging rights. But at the same time, we also get it.
We will eventually get it like that. I think that's the main fucking thing people are missing. We will get it eventually. There was also 2 other timed exclusives announced. One being Deathloop and the other one being Ghostwire Tokyo. Now, bear in mind, right? Timed exclusive PS5. They're made by Bethesda. Like, Bethesda are literally handing you, because they feel bad for you. They're like, okay, we'll give you these 2 exclusives for a while. So you'd be like, really? Yeah. And then we'll fuck off and never see you again. Like, I feel like Bethesda did that just because they felt bad about Starfield. They shouldn't have. Fuck them. But I mean, okay, they get 2 timed exclusives for a while, and then we get them. I think that's the main thing that, like, we keep coming back to. We will get them. Get over yourselves. Brag about how good God of War is. Brag about it. I can't have it. Brag about how good Spider-Man is. Brag about it. I can't have it. But you can't go, way, we get fucking Knights of the Old Republic, one of the greatest Star Wars games ever made. Fuck you. It's like, okay, we'll get it like 6 months later. Like, and? And it'd be like, yeah, but wait, it's like,
Yeah.
Okay, we will get it. We will be able to play it. It's not a thing that like you're gonna have an advantage over us. It's not a multiplayer game. Keep going back to this. Not a multiplayer game. It's a single player game. Once you finish it, you finish it. You're not gonna be like, we're not gonna show up and you're all gonna be like level 200 and we're gonna be starting and you're gonna be fucking wrecking shop. No, it's a single player game. Like, you could just fucking play it on your own, and that's it. And a lot of Xbox players both have an Xbox and a PC, or have a PC that has Game Pass on it. So that means you have a PC that can play Knights of the Old Republic straight fucking away. So what exactly are you holding over us? Nothing. We will get it. If it was an exclusive, I would be pretty sad. But it's not.
Absolutely.
It's just not.
And what the funniest thing about this is, of all the single player games they're coming out with, this is probably the single player game that has the most like replay value out of all, because you can take multiple different paths.
Yeah.
And it's still not a PS exclusive. You're right when you say they will shove you a single player game, but single player games are really brilliant for the experience, but lately have lost a bit of replay value because there isn't multiple paths to take down. They're pretty linear. There's not a whole lot of paths to take. Yeah, it's pretty linear. So like, I'll play a bunch of single player games. I remember back in the day, you could do a whole load of different things, and you even I do and don't miss missable achievements that are pretty big.
Yeah.
I liked the missable achievements. Say there was one in Assassin's Creed 2 where you had to do something in Rome, but you had to do it beforehand. But once you get to Rome, that's it. You can't go back to it once you leave.
Yeah.
So I like that because I had to replay it to get that achievement. While annoying, it gives me a reason to replay it. But the issue nowadays is I will replay single player games and I'll be like, that's it.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
I'm still the achievement hunter. I'm usually number one of their fucking achievement leaderboards, and I still just don't have that urge to go back and play single player games again because it's a one-time deal. I like The Last of Us. I played it once, never played it again. I still love the first game, but never played it again.
Yeah. And that's it with single player games. And if PS only do like single player games, and I feel like we keep coming back to this. Like, if you're going to just make like single player games, okay, don't give a fuck about multiplayer. Don't, cool, that's your thing, but make them extremely replayable. Make them ridiculously like replayable. Have hundreds of hours of gameplay. Like, why is it only 30 hours of gameplay for a single player? One of your biggest single player games in Spider-Man. Why is it that short? Fucking make Spider-Man hundreds of hours long. Hundreds. Like, if it's like it's they're way too short, and they don't have replay value. They just don't. Like, and I feel like it's not just PS. I think right now PS is under the spotlight because they're the ones with the games coming out. But a lot of single player games nowadays are just not replayable. Like, they're not replayable. Like, they're just not. Like, even like GTA 5 is not replayable. The storyline. I guess you could. Yeah. You could just to see the different ending, but I mean, you could just replay the last mission to get a different ending. But like, or just watch it on YouTube. But like, there's just no replay value in that, and like, I think the main one with replay value is Skyrim. Skyrim I just keep coming back to Skyrim. You can go back to Skyrim and play it a whole new way, a different way of playing it. With you can go single handed.
We are so over time. I didn't realize it, but you're right.
Like single, like you can go one handed, two handed, magic, arrows, and then you could have a million different other things. But yeah, we were well over.
Well over time. I didn't realize it.
Yeah. But yeah, just if all these games are super long, fantastic. Like, I'm considering buying a PS5 eventually to be able to play these exclusive because they're cool. They're fucking awesome. But if they're like, Spider-Man game comes out and it's like 30 hours, and God of War Ragnarok isn't over 100 hours, it's just gonna be like, is it really worth €500 plus games? No. But yeah, that's it.
Yep. Do your outro.
Yeah, so make sure to follow us on the gram where we post movie reviews and stuff.
And a naked minion later.
Yeah, and and then YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel, The Screen Age, where we post gameplays.
I hate to record tomorrow.
Gameplays as well as the podcast. Couldn't think of it. But yeah, so yeah, and yeah, that's it. Au revoir.
Bye bye.